Hello world, my name is Klaus Hostel and I'm doing 100 innovation keynotes in 100 days. Today I'm going to talk about the power of 1,000. Now this is a street in Serbia. It's an umbrella street and there are quite a few of these around the world. Now as you can see, it's got a lot of umbrellas. It might have nice buildings, maybe the pavement's nice, maybe there are some nice cafes or a restaurant or a good place to shop. Maybe it has street performers. I don't know. What I do know is it's got umbrellas, lots of umbrellas. Now it may not have 1,000, but it plays very well into the idea of the power of 1,000. And simply put, that is that if you have a lot of something, it becomes interesting in itself. Hang up one umbrella, okay, strange. Hang up two, hang up five, what's that? Hang up 10, interesting. Hang up 100 or 1,000 or 500 or 10,000, depending on what it is, that sort of thing. Now you have something. And it's so simple. This is a dwarf from Krakow. That's not true. It's a dwarf from Wrocław. Two different Polish cities. I've been quite a bit to both of them. Sorry for mixing it up. It's a dwarf from Wrocław. And apparently these dwarves started appearing on the streets in about 2005. Now Wikipedia says there are about 600 of them. There are all sorts of them. And the fact that there are several hundreds is what makes them cool. Had some artist put up 5 dwarves scattered across Wrocław, not Krakow, Wrocław, Western Poland, not kind of southeastern, then sure, that would have been nice, but the fact that it has so many hundreds and hundreds of these dwarves, and they're different, that means it's special. It means it's a tourist attraction, because who doesn't want to go find the fun dwarves? Of course, you do, because they're cool. They're cool because there are so many of them. Again, the power of 1,000. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever walked around in stormtrooper armor, or some sort of costume in general. With the past I have in live-action roleplay, I've done quite a lot of that. Now, I've never been part of a 10-person squad of stormtroopers marching up a shopping street, but I've done things that are pretty similar to that. And one thing I can tell you is if you're one person in a costume, if you're one stormtrooper, then you're a single nutcase. At least that's what the world thinks of you. If you're 2 people, then at least you're having fun. You're like, okay, what's that? 5, 10, 100? Then you're an event. Then you're interesting. If I take 100 stormtroopers and walk down 5th Avenue in New York, it's going to be a news item. It doesn't have to have a purpose. It doesn't have to have a political agenda. It just has to be me and 100 other people in stormtrooper armor, and we are going to be news because the power of 1,000. The Berlin Bears, I think there are 150 of them or so. Sure, they represent all parts of the world, all that sort of, there's a nice story, there's a nice thing, there's a nice vision to the art, but there are also just a lot of these weird bears. And again, a few of them, more? Yeah. 150? Woo! World phenomenon. The power of 1,000. Now, one might even suspect that I'm making use of this myself. It's not 1,000. That would be nice, but also completely exhausting. 100 is more than tough enough for me. But 100 keynotes. If I went out and said, so I did a keynote, I'm like, okay, cool, good for you. So I did 10 keynotes. Okay, that's interesting. But 100 keynotes. Now we're talking. If it had been 1,000, but keeping it to 100 for now, and still, the reaction I get, whoa, 100 keynotes. The power of 1,000 also works sometimes when it's 100. And it can be the really weird stuff. This picture is, I kid you not, I Googled 1,000 Lego heads. And the picture that I'm showing you here, it's actually much bigger because it's the format doesn't fit the screen. But this is somebody apparently on eBay selling 1,000 Lego heads. Now, I don't know who wants 1,000 Lego heads, except me because I own about 100 kilos of Lego. Of course I want 1,000 Lego heads. But seeing them, I mean, it may be a bit weird. They're a little bit strange. But interesting, different, noteworthy, remarkable. Yeah, the power of 1,000. And if you're thinking, what the hell does this have to do with innovation class? Then I could tell you 1,000 times, but I think you've got it already. Thank you.